In almost 150 years, the official law reports series have progressed from this to this, and from this to this. Nowadays, their publisher, the Incorporated Council of Law Reporting for England and Wales, or ICLR, also publishes 3 specialist series: the Industrial Cases Reports, the Business Law Reports, the Public and Third Sector Law Reports, as well as the leading general series, the Weekly Law Reports. The ICLR is a not-for-profit organisation established and supervised by senior judges and lawyers. It makes its reports available at the lowest prices consistent with the costs of production. As a charity, the ICLR works for the public benefit, to advance the knowledge of the law and to ensure the efficient administration of justice. It also helps nurture the practitioners of the future through its annual student mooting competition and a regular newsletter aimed at students and young practitioners. There's also a special student zone on the website. Law reporting has a venerable, if somewhat checkered, history. The earliest reports were contained in the yearbooks, dating from the late 13th century. They were compiled by unknown reporters who wrote up instructive cases in law French. The introduction of printing in the late 15th century allowed wider circulation of law reports and digests. From the 16th century onwards, individual reporters began producing collections of case reports under their own names. They were published privately and without official approval, and could be quite unreliable. Rival versions of the same case would often contain inconsistent and contradictory material. Judges would be reluctant to rely on them for precedents, and counsel grew wary of citing them in support of their arguments. By the mid-19th century, it was clear something had to be done. At a meeting on the 25th of February 1865, the Council of Law Reporting was inaugurated to ensure the publication of accurate and accessible reports of all important cases. One of its founding fathers was a barrister called Nathaniel Lindley, who later became Master of the Rolls and a law lord. In his paper on law reports, he set out what he regarded as their proper function.
Reports should exclude cases that pass without discussion or consideration of the law, and which are valueless as precedents. They should include all cases that introduce or appear to introduce a new principle or rule, that materially modify an existing principle or rule, that settle or materially tend to settle a question upon which the law is doubtful, or that are for any reason peculiarly instructive.
Thanks to the rigorous application of Lindley's canons since 1865, the official law reports and, since 1953, the weekly law reports have always been renowned for their accuracy, authority, and consistency. Moreover, the law reports are required by a Supreme Court practice direction to be cited in preference over any other series.
For the avoidance of doubt, it should be emphasized that both the High Court and the Court of Appeal require that where a case has been reported in the official law reports published by the Incorporated Council of Law Reporting for England and Wales, it must be cited from that source. Other series of reports may only be used when a case is not reported in the law reports.
The tendency to produce unreported transcripts in court is something to be frowned upon. What the court needs is the authoritative law report.
It's a matter not simply of reliability, but also because there's a practice direction which requires parties to cite the official reports.
Though nowadays it may be easy enough to find transcripts of judgments online, the advantages of using proper law reports are manifold. For a start, there is the benefit of selection.
As editor, I focus on the overall accuracy of the reports, but particularly seek to ensure that the headnote sets out as clearly, concisely and accurately as possible what the case decides.
Then, for those cases which are published in the weekly law reports and the ICLR's various specialist series, there is the huge amount of added value through the addition of expertly written headnotes, the index catchwords, the lists of cases referred to or cited, the checking of all the references, the detailed proofreading to ensure the highest standards of accuracy, and the fact that every judgment published has been checked and approved by the judge who delivered it. And in the case of the Official Law Reports series, there is a further benefit which no other publisher of English law reports can offer: a summary of counsel's arguments. These summaries, which have been approved by the counsel concerned, not only illuminate the jurisprudential background to the decision taken in the case, but can also provide essential information about the way issues have been presented to the court, which may not be apparent from the judgment, and which may affect its value as a precedent. The ICLR's reports are used by the judiciary, practitioners, academics, and students. Technological improvements mean that the time lag between the handing down of a judgment and its publication as an edited, authenticated, approved law report is growing ever shorter. Editions are also printed locally in places such as Lucknow and Beijing, and where India and China lead, others will surely follow. Nowadays, the ICLR is equipped with the technological tools of the future, while still providing the high-quality product of the past.